This episode is brought to you by Coffee Mate. Coffee Mate is the world's biggest coffee lover because we love all the ways you enjoy. Wait. Coffee Mate can't love coffee more than me. I'm a foodie. I went to Kyoto just for a nitro matcha latte. What? Oh, I have to finish the ad. Coffee Mate, for the love of coffee.
Your teen requested a ride, but this time not from you. It's through their Uber teen account. You drive your teenager around, a lot, to their friend Jacob's house, their other friend Jake's house, to James's, to Jaden's, to Jalen's, to...
Mom? This is Jake's house, not Jacob's.
Now with an Uber teen account, your teen can request a ride under your supervision. They'll ride with a highly rated driver, and with live trip tracking, you'll follow along the whole ride to their friends' houses that all sound the same. Add your teen to your Uber account today. See app for details.
Bye, Mom.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be. To be.
ABCs. Welcome to the Bare Naked ABCs, where we enjoy to discuss every single Bare Naked Ladies song from 7 to Y. And this week I have joining me Aaron and Betsy. Thank you for joining.
Always a pleasure to be here.
Hey, Tracy.
And God forbid Heidi actually come during the first week of school, you know.
How dare she?
God forbid.
And tonight we're going to be discussing the song God Forbid. If you have never...
God forbid.
God forbid we discuss. God forbid. If you have never heard this song before from Detour DeForce, here is a quick snippet.
God forbid you and I ever find better words to describe how we can't run and hide from the fears in the back of our minds. And I know that it's not how we live, but we still say God forbid.
It was written by Ed and Donovan Wood.
Woody?
I don't know, Woody.
Is he a singular? He's not a plural. He's not a Woods.
Would they?
He would if he could.
How many songs would Donovan Wood write if Donovan could write? He can write songs, so I know.
Can.
He's written a lot of songs.
Yes.
Woody. Yeah.
He's written, I think, 4 with Ed.
Yes, quite a few.
BNL has never played this in concert.
That's a shame.
God forbid.
God forbid they play God forbid.
I don't understand.
Yeah, this is a beautiful song.
The rationale behind it.
Not to tip my hand.
I would think that you would want to. I mean, I get you only have so many slow songs in a rotation, but at the same time, I would think that you'd want to pull this one out every now and then and go through.
Just
God forbid you pull it out on stage.
Whip it out.
And we've heard tales about you. Don't whip it out, please.
Don't. Oh, he's whipped it out before.
It's okay to whip it out. Never mind.
As long as you whip it. As long as you.
We're already in After Dark territory. something. Whipping out, pulling out. I don't know.
My favorite territory.
Anyway,
I mean, you guys did tell me we're in.
Yes, we are in. You son of a bitch, I'm in. All right.
This is the 10th song on the album, so it's buried pretty deep.
Deep cut.
And it's between a Jim song and a Kevin song. So it's really buried deep.
Deep in the woods, yes. Lost in the woods.
Aaron, would you like to give us a breakdown of this song?
Sure, let's break it down.
Hey there, busy parents. Christian Swain here, the rock and roll archaeologist. I know just how stressful family dinners can be, from planning and shopping to actually getting everyone to enjoy what you made. But I've got some good news for you. HelloFresh totally gets it too. They're making dinner easier and more enjoyable with fresh ingredients and recipes that even picky eaters love, delivered right to your door each week. I've been using HelloFresh for a while now, and let me tell you, their new Build-A-Plate meals are a game changer. Imagine not having to make multiple dinners to satisfy everyone's tastes. And with so many options, each member of my family gets to build their perfect plate from just one meal. No more, I don't want this at the dinner table. Just happy faces and clean plates. Plus, with HelloFresh, I don't have to worry about meal planning or grocery store runs. Their easy-to-follow recipes with pre-portioned ingredients save me so much time, especially now that school's back in session. And here's the best part. Right now, kids eat free. Go to HelloFresh.com/PantheonKids to unlock this exclusive offer. That's one free kids meal per box for 2 months while your subscription is active. So, what are you waiting for? Head to HelloFresh.com/PantheonKids. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit.
God Forbid was recorded, to the best of my perception, at 84 beats per minute, more or less. There are some accelerandos and retardandos and all that, but for the most part...
Whoa, we don't use that word.
I can't. Nope, that's an 80s term. I can't use
I'm not even taking part in this discourse. But yes, it does slow down and speed up, shall I say, at various parts of the song. But for the most part, it's right there at 84 beats per minute, I would think.
Sting says that it's good to slow down and speed up.
Anyways, hey, let's break it down. God Forbid was written in the key of E-flat major. At about 84 beats per minute. You start off with this intro. It's got this kind of ambient vamp on E flat. There's like these kind of synth pads. It's very Brian Eno. It's very kind of ethereal sounding. And then we play through what I have later identified as the chorus changes, which we'll get to in a moment. But then we get to the very first verse. And the verse is very simple, pretty much 3 chords. It's B flat, C minor, A flat. Now, between the verses, you'll notice, or sometimes between different sections of the song, they will play E flat and A flat. So, for instance, between the first verse and the second verse, there's this essentially 2-bar section, 1 bar each of E flat and A flat, which it might have tripped a sensor for you because it's unusual, right? Usually, in a straightforward rock, pop, country song, you kind of have chunks, groups of 4 bars. So this group of 2 bar, it almost sounds like they dropped a beat or a bar. They, in fact, sort of dropped 2 bars in a sense. So we go into our second verse, and then we move on to the chorus, which, as I mentioned before, we had those changes earlier. It's E flat, A flat, and then C minor, B flat, A flat. So again, those 3 chords, the B flat, the C minor, and the A flat, form the vast majority of the song. But we do have E flat, A flat, both as sort of this interlude between sections and also at the top of the chorus section. And that's pretty much it. The structure is intro, which is basically just playing E flat. The verse, it goes to the chorus changes, like I said, which would be like a B. The verse is your A section. You have the kind of interlude, and then verse 2. Chorus, which is your B section, verse 3, A changes again. The solo, the kind of keyboard synth solo, which is over the chorus changes, so that's another B. Then the chorus, even though there's just the beginning of the verse almost in a way, but we go to chorus and then chorus again for the outro. So it's basically kind of like A, B, B, B. Kind of a simple structure, but with some interesting things there that I mentioned that were like kind of playing around with the length of different, like the verse maybe, or having kind of like a little bar or 2 added here or there. And very, very well done. You know, I actually said to Betsy earlier, I think this kind of is like Ed doing his thing at like really the highest level. I do think, based on what I've heard from his collaborations with Donovan, I think that Donovan really brings out kind of the best in Ed. I've commented on how Ed, if I call it an Ed song, if it's like, hey, kind of softer rock ballad with country influence, that's very much like Ed's wheelhouse, especially like in the later days. But this is him doing that at like kind of at the peak of his abilities, I think. I dare say.
What do you think, Betsy?
I agree heartily because I think I'm hearing myself too much. I think whenever Donovan and Ed get together, it's a really good combination and they play off each other well. So for me, I totally agree.
Okay. I like some of their collaborations. I don't like others. This one kind of falls in the middle.
Ooh, okay. Spicy.
So kind of, I'm okay with this collaboration. I'm not sure what the beginning of this song is meant to be. So if you turn it up loud, at the very beginning, there's some talking over microphones.
Yeah.
And then some ambient noise that slowly builds in volume.
Were you able to discern what was being said? Because I just kind of like took it as ambient sound.
Yeah, I couldn't, but it makes me go, okay, well, what's the if no one can tell what it is, what's the purpose?
Based on the lyrics of the song, because I should before we do that, let's put a pin in that. Let's table that. Does anyone have anything, like, Betsy, did you like anything particular about the music? Was there anything that really spoke to you? Like, before we move on to lyrics, I just wanted to make sure everyone had a chance to like kind of discuss what they liked about the song or didn't like, if there's a trouble with Tracy.
I like the intro a lot because it was kind of ethereal and had that kind of interstellar sound to it. Yeah, I know we're both lost in space here. But I like how it kind of rings out and then it kind of dies off and it comes back in. So I think if I were to take anything from the talking in the beginning, it might allude to probably, I don't know how to put it. Like maybe it's like a conversation that you have with your friends or something, and then and then it gets like into a deeper conversation that maybe you weren't expecting. Mm-hmm. So maybe it's kind of like it's like a conversational seed, and then it just kind of turns into this song, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
What do you think, Tracy?
I feel like it should have been cut out.
No.
And my only reason is, like, if you can't tell what's being said and you can't tell the purpose of it being there, then it shouldn't be there. And you know, there are other songs that do this. You know, there's a couple songs by Weezer where they do it, but it is, and some songs. Oh man, my brain is blanking right now. Of course. But I mean, I've seen it done, and it's done well. And when you do it, it adds something to the song. I don't feel like this adds anything to the song. I feel like that 2 seconds of the vocalizing could have gone.
Do you want to hear my artsy fartsy interpretation of this?
Sure.
Okay. So 2 things. One, the song is called God Forbid, and we'll get here, but I don't think it'll be anyone's surprise that my favorite lyrics are the last 2 lines, which, though I do not believe he exists, I still say God forbid. You know, I think Ed and I probably have a lot in common in that sense, because he does seem to be like me, and it might be projecting, but he seems to be very interested in religion and interested in mythology and beliefs in general and things like that, which I very much am as well. So the reason that I have to kind of think of it, so it's the song starts out with the line, "I used to worry about typical things." And whether you interpret this song as being about like existential dread in particular, or just more about like as we get older, the things we worry about are a little more pressing, and they're very different. We always think about like when you're a kid, you're afraid of the monster under your bed, right? But when you get older, you have, in my opinion, much more terrifying things to be frightened of. You know what I mean? So I think there's something about that in it. And if we take it as kind of an example of that, and you kind of wind it back, the beginning of the song with the ethereal music and the kind of muffled voices might be childhood, or might be like being born. And so because the song is both kind of like talking about as you mature or progress. Oh, I'm echoing.
It says
okay,
God,
let's listen
doesn't
to
it?
it. Yeah.
Play it again?
Yeah, I was just trying. Oh, of course I hit stop share. I was just trying to set it up for us to listen to it after you were done talking. I wasn't trying to interrupt you.
But no, I just think that it's possible that this is, I might be getting way too in the weeds here, but it kind of reminded me of the concept of the Chamber of Guff, which is from, I believe, Kabbalah, like Jewish mysticism. And the idea is that there's this kind of chamber of, or treasury of souls that just kind of exists. And when someone is born, a soul descends down to earth to be connect to their body or whatever. So I kind of feel like, yeah, we're floating in space or whatever at the beginning, right? We're floating in the heavens, and you're just coming into consciousness. You're just coming into life, worry free. Even though first thing we usually do is cry. We really have very little to be concerned about at that point. You know what I mean? Typically. And then as we grow, so too do our worries grow. In the same way that I believe it's largely an urban legend, but the idea that a fish will grow to the size of the tank, our worries grow to fill our brains and our minds as well. So I think there's maybe something there based on both the beginning and the ending of the song. The fact that Ed, I do believe, is kind of like me, kind of curious about different aspects of religion and beliefs, and the fact that it's called God forbid. That's kind of my interpretation. That's where my brain.
Were you able to pick up what he said?
I heard maybe God or Guff, but that might be my own bias peeking through.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Yeah, but there's like a word or two before God.
Well, Chamber of Guff. Throwing it out there. Ed, we know you listen. Come on the show. Are you writing a song about Kabbalah? What's going on?
The one thing that I did note is it sounded very much, at least from my experience, of what it sounds like of priests in a church when they're doing a homily through a microphone. That very echoey thing. But again, if I can't understand what is being said, it loses its importance.
As a child, as a babe, you are having these voices wash over you, and you don't understand them. So that again reinforces my interpretation.
I don't like it.
Well, you don't have to, my friend. You don't.
No, I don't. A couple of musical notes. Kevin did say, go back up here. Kevin did say that he really likes the accordion on this song. My problem is, where's the accordion? I hear it very faintly in the background. Like once I listen to that,
yeah, I
can hear it, but it's being drowned out by the synth.
I'm mostly hearing like kind of like artificial kind of digital synth voices. I agree. I'm also a big fan of accordion and rock music. So I would like to have the trouble with Aaron. I would like to have that brought up for sure. Like bring it up in the mix.
Yeah, I because it's so faint, I really want it in there a little bit more blended in. Jim said that he loves this song and that when he was writing or doing it, he focused on putting his all into the song by making every chord connect to the next one to give it a stronger foundation.
I would agree. It sounds good.
And then Ed, the only other thing I had musically that I wanted to say is that I like that Ed adds in a rest at the beginning of the second verse, so it changes.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. That kind of interesting playing with the. I believe we actually had a similar note. I don't know if that was also a Woods Robertson collaboration, but we had another song, I think fairly recently, that did the same thing. Like it changed the length of one of the verses.
It wasn't. It was a Jim song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We did talk about that though. And that's, I mean, I like the, I don't love the ambient background noise, but it doesn't annoy me like it has on some songs.
Yeah.
I wish that there was more in the bridge. Not more of the ambience in there, but more instruments. Like do something a little bit more with that bridge.
In the solo section.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I could agree. Potentially. Yeah.
And that would be a good spot for the accordion to have come back up.
Yeah, I would like to maybe hear some more layering with the instruments or something at that point. But I mean, honestly, I also think that to a large extent, why this song works so well for me is that it's not overly produced. It's not. It kind of lets the simplicity of what it is just be, and that really kind of helps the message of the song kind of shine through.
Well, did you listen to Donovan's version?
Mm-hmm.
We did.
God forbid.
What were your thoughts on that?
You and I ever find better words to describe how we can run and hide
just a little too soft
from the fear in the back of our minds. Though I do not believe,
and maybe it's because
I still say God forbid.
the version was next, but I mean, I like the video and I like the LGBTQ spin, but yeah, it didn't seem as thematic. Maybe I don't know. I like Ed's version better.
Aaron, what about you?
I completely agree, which is interesting because I have really dug a lot of the stuff that I've heard from Donovan. And it's not that I didn't like this, but just I listened to the B&L version first. And yeah, just comparatively speaking, it just didn't seem as, it didn't resonate as much. I really do, musically speaking, I really do like the Marcato strings. Those are really nice. But overall, I think I prefer the instrumentation of the B&L version, especially in the chorus, where the country rock ballad style of it just kind of makes you like tap your toes and nod your head. I was able to kind of get into the groove a bit more. And I think to Betsy's point about the to Betsy's point about the vocals, they were not as emotionally impactful for me. The breathiness, I didn't even write that down as a note, but you're absolutely right. Interestingly enough, it kind of reminded me of like Rufus Wainwright, who appropriately enough, because the video does have those LGBTQ themes, and I love Rufus, and I love Donovan, but like, yeah, I just the delivery was just not the same for me. Like, there's a certain vulnerability, interestingly enough, in Ed's vocals. This kind of like world weariness to it. It's all that I dare say gives like a greater weight to the words being sung, because I do think this song, well, so much of this album has been about aging, right? I think there's something there. Again, whether or not I'm correct in my, child to adult or adult to older adult, our worries changing with our times. Whether I'm correct about that or not, I do think that the kind of like more it's going to sound like a backhanded compliment, but I mean this sincerely. The kind of tiredness you hear in Ed's voice comes through, and it's like, man, I'm tired. I relate to that. I'm tired of dealing with so much in this world. You know what I mean? Like it's very tiring to deal with a lot of what's going on in the world right now, and it just that comes through a lot in Ed's vocals. Like I said, that world weary. He doesn't sound like Bob Dylan, but it's the same kind of thing where it's like, man, you hear him singing, you're like, okay, I get it. This guy's been through some stuff. So.
Bob Dylan, we know you listen. Come on the show.
Yes, Bob, please come on the show. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know. The Donovan Woods version is good, but just compared to the version with Ed singing, I feel like the Donovan Woods version is like a brand new pair of jeans that I just bought at the store, and Ed's version is like an old pair of jeans that I've been wearing for years. And yeah, they got some weird like coloration on them, and maybe they got some little tears in them, but that gives them character and that makes them more personal to me, and I have a better connection with those. So that, I don't know, weird analogy maybe, but that's how I felt.
I like them both equally. The thing I would say is I wish I could take, much like you're saying, I wish I could take Ed's voice and put it to the music that Donovan has created for the song. There's something about the way that Donovan has set this up with the very soft but the violin stings.
Yeah, the Marcato strings. Really
yes,
nice.
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't know the official word. I like that. And then later has the acoustic guitar coming in. Like, I wish that they had collaborated on this song. Like I wish they had done with the other one. Donovan's voice would have done a great job of harmonizing, like, in a chorus or something like that, and bringing it up another notch. And also just the backgrounds that are in the Donovan version I really love, especially that full string section at the end and how it slowly builds intensity throughout the whole song. What I really didn't like about Donovan's version was that chorus with the echoey addition in the background. And I think that had they collaborated, we would have had Ed's vocals, Donovan on harmonies. There wouldn't have been that echoiness.
Yeah, fair. I mean, like I said, I think the strings were the best part. So I would be very curious to hear like all of these tunes that they both worked on instead of, I mean, I'm glad we have both versions, but it'd be cool to have like a hybrid version where they pick the best of both of their versions and kind of make their own new song together. That'd be really interesting to hear.
So guys, send me all the tracks and I will start blending them, and I will make you a better version.
Wow, you heard it here first, folks. Yeah, we know you listen.
It'll take me about a year, but
that would be fun. That'd be a fun project.
It would. Why don't we talk about the lyrics of the song? While we're still talking about Donovan's, I do want to point out that lyrically there are differences, a lot of differences, that he has during his version, and I'm not quite sure why there's so many differences.
They're all very similar, but they're different.
Yeah, and like, it's little tiny differences.
Tweak it, yeah.
But it's also, it adds up to a lot over time. You know, no matter how badly I wanted to changing it to even if I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
It's a slight difference, but it does give a different flavor to it.
Yeah, I think even aligns better. Or maybe it's just because I heard Bare Naked Ladies version first.
Well, and even if I wanted to says that, like, it gives it that, like, I don't want to.
Right.
No matter how badly I wanted to, kind of implies that I want to and I'm just not able to. Or that I don't want to enough. So it gives a very different impression of what's being said there. And then the other piece that is really different, and Aaron, I think that you would find it interesting, is that he changed it. The chorus is different. So Donovan in the first chorus says, "And I know that's not how we live, but we still say God forbid." So he keeps that into his choruses. And that's what Ed says. Donovan says, "Though I do not believe in him."
In him, yeah.
And he keeps that throughout the whole song, is though I do not believe in him.
Yeah, I kind of like saving that for the end. I like for me, because it's almost like I'll use phrases like "God forbid," I'll and then "thank God" and stuff like that, So there's a cultural component to these things, and the meaning is the same whether you believe or not, and no matter how badly you want to believe, or even if you don't, and even if you wanted to, So, I like it. Gives it a little more weight for me that it's right at the very end in the B&L section. That's just me.
And also, Donovan. So B&L and Donovan approached the end of this song in a very different way as well. So the structure of the song is different. Donovan goes right into the third verse and then to the chorus, and then goes into "I used to worry about typical things," and then to the chorus.
Yeah.
B&L goes third verse to "I used to worry about typical things," and then a one chorus, and then repeats the last line of the chorus with the change. So they have that completely set up, like where those singular lines are, where the solos are. It's all very different.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. I like that there are two versions that are actually fairly different, and one person might like one better, one person might like another. If you're in a different mood, you might prefer one to the other. I kind of like that they're actually fairly different in a lot of ways, but they're obviously at their heart, at their core, the very same song.
Well, let's talk at the very core. I know that you've kind of had your thoughts and
I've talked enough, so let's let Betsy talk for a little bit.
Betsy, what do you think?
Let's put you on the spot. Hey, Betsy, what do you think?
Well, I'll try to keep it together. So this song was really impactful for me because it just hits me at the right time. So yeah, I mean, sometimes you're just going through life in autopilot, and then out of nowhere, something impacts you enough that it really shakes you. So that's kind of what I took from this. And I mean, you could interpret it a couple of different ways, whether it's mortality or a person, but yeah, it's Ed's doing some deep thinking, so that's where I'm gonna leave it at, so I don't get too emotional.
So I'm based on what you're saying, I take it neither one of you had listened to the tune, song for song, tune by tune, track for track. There we go, track by track, breakdown of what all the songs were about.
No.
Yeah, lay it on me. I didn't research it that much.
So Ed shared that his daughter loved this song, and came up to him after he played it for the family and said, so what's it about? And he said, it's about you. It's about how you're never off the hook as a parent. And as well as you raise them, as good a job as you do, and as much as you empower them, you will always worry about them.
Kind of reminds me of "You Ruined Everything" by Jonathan Coulton. Another great song.
And once I took those words and I looked at the lyrics, it all started to click. Because I'll admit, I didn't quite know what the song was about And it made me not like the song quite as much because I was
Really
not quite sure what you're getting at here, Ed. Once I knew what it meant, I'm like it meant a little bit more to me and sunken a little bit deeper. Which
I misinterpreted what you said. Then I thought you meant that you liked it less when you discovered it was about having children.
No, I liked it. I liked it more.
Okay. So I want to say I was kind of right, because the idea is you grow up, you have kids, and now there is somebody other than yourself that you're worried about more even than yourself. So it's just it's another whole level of existential dread. It's existential dread outsourced for another person.
Second generation, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
he's always worried that something bad is going to happen to his kid.
Of course. I mean, as a parent, I can only imagine you would always be worried.
And my kids haven't left the home yet, but I can't imagine that once they do, that won't be a continuous kind of worry of like, before I kind of had some control over this. I kind of got to see them on a daily basis and could help them. And now the world has them, and that's a scary thought.
Yep. You do the best you can to raise them right, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've had those conversations with my daughter before of like, at a certain point, I need to just trust that you're going to, that you're going to make good choices. And I know that you're going to make good choices because of the way we've raised you, but it's scary to do that.
It's kind of corny, but we had this little placard in our kitchen growing up that said, there's two things you give your children. One is roots and the other is wings. So that kind of ties in a little, I think.
For sure.
Or that could have been a country song, but I'm pretty sure it was a placard in our kitchen.
Now, I do want to go back to that chorus, though.
Yeah.
Because some of it makes sense with that lens. But Ed.
Come on the show.
You say, God forbid you and I ever find better words to describe. Ed, I do not think it means what you think it means.
You keep saying that word.
Or as Harlan's character on the pilot said, knock on wood.
Oh my God.
Although that actually makes more sense because at least then you want to find better words, and God forbid means that you don't want
well, I
to
think
find
that might
better
be intentional.
words.
I think that might be intentional, Tracy, because if this song... So, okay. I initially thought this was about existential dread, but that's because I'm a goth and I think everything's about existential dread. But,
well, I mean,
again, it's
your
sort
kids
of
growing
is,
up is
right.
existential dread.
But it's all, I would say, not even
focused.
Just instead of with the kids, it's extended to, right?
Yes.
So it still is kind of about existential dread. And the whole thing about existential dread, the whole point is we are constantly running away from it. We don't, we can't run and hide, but we try to. We try very hard not to think about it. We try a lot of things to do anything possible to push that away. So I don't think he wants to find better words to describe it because I don't think he wants to think about it, but he really can't deal with it. So I think that might actually be intentional.
I agree. Actually, I'd come up to, like, as I listened to the song 3 more times, I came to that same point.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But science says that's not true. Science and psychology say that time and time again.
Oh, I'm not endorsing
words
avoidance
to the
as a strategy. No, I don't think that's a good idea. I'm just saying that's what we're prone to doing as people who are totally afraid of not existing.
But Ed, putting words to your fears actually dispel the fear.
Okay, so the trouble with Tracy is like a therapist tip.
Yes. Ed, continue your therapy. Obviously, there's still some work to do.
True for all of us. And to your point about the best you can, that's to quote from a Radiohead song, because I'm me, from Optimistic, try the best you can, the best you can is good enough.
I like that.
That's a great song. Tom York, we know you listen, come on the show. That'd be the best birthday present ever, Tracy. My birthday is coming up now in a few months now. You want to book Tom on the show? Or Johnny. I'll take anyone from Radiohead, really.
I think we're done with the show before your birthday comes up.
Oh, well, you're going to have a special episode just to... You're gonna invite, They Might Be Giants and Radio...
That went from really happy and glorious, and then I just flipped it. And
Existential dread for the show now.
I think Betsy got where I was going with that.
Oh, that was a pun. No. What's next week's song?
What is it, Betsy?
I don't know. I have a headache. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Next week's song is I Have a Headache.
Yes, it is. How did you know? Oh my gosh.
I had a headache. I take Excedrin in the morning.
Next week's song is Flip.
Oh.
Flip!
You really flipped the script on us there.
Yep.
I'm going to kick us out, and then we're going to do ratings.
Okay, I got to take some.
But before we come back to ratings, people, listen to this commercial. So I want to introduce you to a partner that we have had coming in with the Pantheon podcast community over the last couple months. They've given us a free chance to try this out, and I've been really impressed with it. I haven't had a chance to try it yet, but it is a new platform called Qobuz, and that's spelled Qobuz. And it is a way to rediscover music in all its authenticity. It is a high-quality music streaming service, and you can download music from them as well. They have over 100 million tracks in 24-bit high-res and 16-bit
Nice. Yeah, that's actually
CD
way better
quality.
than, I won't mention competitors. But yeah, they compress the crap out of that.
No, it is. And yeah, no, it's intended for music lovers, and it's intended for people like that are artists and recording engineers, and gives you that uncompromising
Well, that sounds appealing to me.
quality. And I've been really impressed. Like, I listen to all the BNL songs on there now, and when I was doing that, that's how I was able to pick up on the beginning of this song, where there was that little bit at the beginning. I'm like, what is that?
Ah.
I was listening through Qobuz. I'm really impressed with them. I love them. They have been doing music sound and high quality music sound since 2007. They're a French platform, which is why we haven't heard much about them over here, but they are expanding and coming over here. You can get them on PC, on Mac, on web readers, iOS and Android.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy to check them out. I love. Obviously, I'm an audiophile, so I mean that's very appealing to me.
And it's created by a team of experts. What I like is it's not not a computer
curated.
that's doing it. It is when the music is picked, it is picked by actual experts that are passionate about music. And they select them and they offer them. They try to rediscover artists and cult albums as well, and really get it out there for people to start loving music.
I mean, I really like the idea. This is the first time I'm hearing about it, but it sounds really cool.
And they're available in 26 different countries. So good chances that if you're listening to this podcast, then you probably have access to Qobuz. And they aren't paying us or anything like that. They did give us a free trial for it. Complete honesty here. But I loved them, and I wouldn't be pushing them if I didn't love what I was hearing and what I was getting out of it. So I recommend go out there and try it. What is it?
Yeah, for sure. You're gonna have to show me next time you're over here. Introduce me to it.
Oh yeah. Well, we have Betsy back now, so we'll drop that conversation. Let's give some ratings to this song. What should we give it for a meter?
How many gods?
How many gods? How many kids?
I don't know. No.
Are you a god?
Yes. See, I learned. I'm not going to make Ray's mistake. When someone asks you if you're a god, you say
well,
yes.
In that case, how many gods do you give this song?
A whole pantheon.
No, that's our podcast network.
See? It's all tied together. Why don't you rate it first for once, Mr. Host? I want to hear. Did we do Trouble with Tracy? I know you mentioned a couple of things. Is there an official Trouble with Tracy?
Just a couple of things. It's not. I don't hate this song. I like it. It's good. If it comes on, I'll listen to it. I think it's a good driving song if you're just trying to chill and relax. And then what I do like about the song is if you take the time to stop and look closer at it, then it actually holds up pretty well. There's a couple songs coming up that is not true of. That when you look at them with a fine-tooth comb or through a lens, it's like, oh, that doesn't do so well. But this song does. It holds up pretty well, and still remains enjoyable. I'm going to give it a 3.65.
Respectable.
What about you, Aaron?
Well, it's definitely, I really do think it's one of the better songs that I've heard from, the more recent albums. I really enjoyed it. It obviously connects with themes that are, very important to me and themes that I like to write about. I like, musically it's quite simple, but again, it's very good. And I think it carries the message of the song quite effectively. Am I going to give it a 5? Is it like right up there with, like Call and Answer or Brian Wilson or whatever? Probably not, but I do think it belongs on the best of playlist. And seeing as we have this ethereal space in the heavens celestial theme, I think it's pretty appropriate to give it 4.2 gods.
Nice. That is the answer to everything. Well, Betsy, can you outdo that?
I think I can.
Ooh.
I'll outbid you.
Okay. Do I hear 4.3?
The only thing I can ding this on is that it just is so... depending on where you are in life, it's sad. But... Yeah. I mean, it sounds like he did like a lot of soul searching for this song and the music of it and his voice. It's just really, it's like a heart banger. It's really beautiful. So I would give it a 4.95.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah. Ooh, just a little ding because it's hard to listen to sometimes.
Another heartache.
Mm-hmm. Another heartache. Another heart ding.
No, another heartache. She gave that.
Hold on, here comes another heartache. Oh.
She really flipped on that song.
3.6.
Oh. I might have to revisit that.
Wow, I was very unkind to that song.
Yeah.
I guess, that's like, that was one of the first ones, right? That was the song number 13, episode 13.
2 3/4.
So I was, still young, edgy, angsty Aaron. I'm none of those things anymore. I'm certainly not young.
Stop. You're the baby. You're the baby of the
baby of the group. But yeah, no, I mean, I appropriately enough, because I like this song, a lot more than I like that one. Not that I hate that song, but this song is I think, in another league, in another galactic federation.
Is it like miniature gods versus
like demigods?
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say there's like the gods, and there's the titans, and then there's the giants, and then there's like people, and then I don't know where demigods fit in all those. If there's any Greek mythology experts in the audience, please write in and tell us where you would put, like, say, Hercules or Heracles amongst
And where would you put the little
power ratings?
Devils and where would you put the little saints?
Well, now we're mixing our metaphors here. You're totally flipping the script on us. I'm going to flip out.
Well, it is a pleasure, as always, whether we're talking about a silly song or a serious song, to talk with you guys, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Tracy.
Always a pleasure.
As always.
Thank you for putting it.
Thank you
It's a
so
beautiful
much.
pain, you know.
Yeah.
We suffer for our art.
Beautiful trauma.
I still say God forbid.
The Jeremiah Show is proudly featured on Pantheon Podcasts. Don't miss an exciting episode of The Jeremiah Show. You're invited to the world of pop culture, music icons, and food gods. Find Jeremiah at thejeremiahshow.com or on all social networks and back catalogs at Linktree, Jeremiah D. Higgins.
I am Miles Zuniga from Fastball.
And we are Girl Named Tom.
Hi, I'm Marielle Hemingway.
Hi, this is Chef Melissa King from Top Chef All Stars.
Hi there, everybody. This is Ann H.
Hi, I'm Shadow Stevens. I'm having a great time on The Jeremiah Show, the greatest show in the history of the world.
The Jeremiah Show is brought to you by Evolve Entertainment Network, Pantheon Podcasts, and Radio Candy Media.
I do hope you enjoyed that interview. I'm sorry that Jeremiah is so hopeless. I did made a real effort to sort of get through the sludge and the drudgery and the cliches and the second-rate ideas. I hope I didn't disappoint you too much. And as far as Jeremiah is concerned, do write in, because if you do, we can do something about this.